Hey guys, welcome back. So today's Sunday. Hope you're enjoying your day. Hope the weekend. Hope you had a great Saturday. A lot of you have requested that I do a deep dive on Cleanspark. So as promised, here it is. But before we get into all the details on it, just a announcement for this is only for entertainment purposes, right? Not financial advice. Do your own research. Don't fall for scams. And spam posts get reported and removed. And I will never ask you guys to send me any coins or anything like that. So don't fall for that if somebody is impersonating me. All right. So let's get into the topic at hand here. So we got Cleanspark. So Cleanspark seems to me, from everything that I've read on it, they are a microgrid energy controller for residential, commercial, and grid communications. That's what they started out as. And then in 2020, late 2020, they bought out ATL or ALT data center with Bitcoins, and then they are transitioning now into a digital currency mining. So if you learn more about them here, clean and carbon-free energy for Cleanspark, decentralized currency meets decentralized energy. So their big thing is they think that they can reduce the energy cost based on the systems that they have in the proprietary software that they use. So they're also big into ESG, so environmental, social, and governance. And if we look at their latest quarterly reports here, a couple of things that I wanted to point out that were a little shocking to me at least. Digital currency mining revenue for June, for the 3 months ended, this is 8.6 million for digital currency mining. And then for the year, since it looks like they started mining basically in December of last year, they're only made basically 16.1 million from it. The thing that kind of surprised me was looking at all these numbers here was, one, their other part of the business, which is their controller business for the energy grid, it was only 2.8 million and 4.9 million for the year. So that's obviously now a small portion. Well, that's basically a quarter of their business. But obviously, as they install more miners, their other business is going to become very, very like a rounding error, basically. But the thing that really got me was payroll expenses. How the heck do you go from a year ago, almost 1 million in payroll expenses, to going almost 12x that in just 1 year? I know you bought on, obviously, the company and everything else with the miners, but really, payroll expense would go 12x for that. So something's a little fishy here. I think the management has been taking on some bonuses, getting some pay raises from the Bitcoin mining here. So not happy about that, seeing that. I would have liked to have seen this maybe double or triple, but not go 12x on payroll expenses. Unless somebody knows something otherwise that I'm not privy to. If you do know something like that, where they brought on a lot more talent or something like that, and that's the reason for it, leave a comment down in the comments. I'll definitely respond to that and appreciate that. Okay, so let's take a look at the stock itself right now. So here's Cleanspark. It finished up yesterday at 1644. We got one analyst with a strong buy on it, and we have an analyst price target of anywhere between 50, 42, and 35. And it's currently at 1644, so it obviously has a pretty ways to go up. Institutional-wise, institutions last reported was on 630. We got Vanguard, BlackRock, Torso Investments, all these other guys here. So there's a lot of institutions, 93 total institutions that own shares in it. They own 10.35 million, which accounts for 28.37, which is a lot of shares owned by institutions, which is a good thing. So that's at least a good plus there. Also, it says that it increased 4 million shares roughly, and they had somebody sold out at 1.18 million shares recently, or at least when this was reported. What else do we have here? Short interest. Don't have a lot of short interest. Has kind of gone up a little bit, but not that bad. Okay, so let's get into the numbers here. So here's what I came up with after reviewing all the data on them. Took me a while to get everything, obviously going through all the reports and everything else. But I think this is the most accurate info that I have here. If you guys disagree, let me know, obviously, in the comments down below. But here's what we got. So December 10th, they announced that they bought out, what was that? I want to make sure I get this right. Acquired ATL data center. So part of that spiel was that the CEO said that they're going to show the Bitcoin mining industry how you can save money by using their technology for their microgrids and everything else. But it turns out that they started making money on Bitcoin and started to pivot, basically go towards more Bitcoin mining than the other microgrid stuff. So here's what we got. So December 10th, when they bought ATL, they acquired basically 3,471 of the Bitcoin miners that were approximately 54 terahash speed. Then they announced December 18th that they bought another 38 miners of the S19s, which were around 95,000 terahash. And then they announced again that they are also getting 500 of the, I don't know which miners those were, but those were the 54,000 terahash. So that gave them another 27 petahash in speed. So quickly right after that, they announced that they're buying another 1,000 S19s on December 22nd with the 95 gigahash for a total of 95 petahash. And then, March 2nd, they announced another 2,500. March 8th, 1,150. March 8th, they announced 1,298 plus whatever this whole batch was here, which was, let me turn this off really quick. It's going to annoy me. A total of 3,480 there, plus the 1,298. So this was on March 8th. April 15th, they announced purchasing S19s and S19 Pros. And that was a big order there. That was a total of, what was that? 22,680 miners that they announced. And they were supposed to get those in from August this year to September of next year with tranches of 1,620 each month, if all goes well. Then we look at here, March 13th, they announced 2,400 miners of the S19 Pros. And then October 12th, this was May, sorry. I gotta fix that. This was May. Then October 12th, they announced another purchase of, 4,500 miners of the S19 Pros starting in November 21st, going through July 22nd with 500 miners each tranche. So we came up with a total of 3,838 petahash would be 3.8 exahash. And that's because they subsequently announced later on that these miners here were basically being sold off and decommissioned from use to make room for some of these newer miners. So that's what we have here as far as when things are coming in. So they reported for the first quarter, if we look at it here, first quarter they reported earnings of approximately 6.7, 6.6, 6.8, somewhere around there. First quarter earnings, I think this was actually their second quarter that they have a weird way of doing it. I think this is the second quarter for them. But this was basically for the January through March quarter. This is what I had them mining with, 3 months with these miners here, 3 months, and then partially these new ones in to get to that revenue price point. And then when we look into the second quarter, April through June, they provided us that they were mining, that they made about 8.6 million from mining Bitcoin. So that will represent all of these miners here being installed, which is basically all of these guys here, right? So we had all of these guys mining for at least a portion, or if not all of the 3 months to get to that revenue point. So based on that information, and then we knew that they also announced that they're going to be removing these two miners here, groups. We took these out, put these at 0, and then put these at 3 months when they were supposed to be delivered, which was summer of 2021 for these guys. And then we also added these guys here in August for 1 month to be delivered as well, if they got delivered when they're supposed to. These were supposed to be delivered as well in the beginning of the summer, so June they were saying, so I gave them 2 months for this one right here. So I came up with a total gross revenue on this possibly with 24.3 million if everything came in when it was supposed to, nothing was delayed. I couldn't find out any information on as far as what their hash rate was on like June, July, or August, or actually July, August, September, to help out with what they're actually mining. But this is just my best guess estimate of what they could be. Obviously, the Bitcoin price finished out the quarter at 48,164. hash rate average for that period was around 124 million. So based on all that information, this is what I'm thinking they could possibly be earning for the quarter for July through September. Then we get into the fourth quarter, which is October, November, December, which we get into now. And we added some more miners into the mining mix here. And they're saying that these are supposed to be coming in November, December, January, February. They did provide that they were going to be at almost 2 exahash by the end of the year. So based on that information, these are the miners that I came up with, the ones here that are highlighted, that would be possibly installed to get them to 2 exahash, mining by the end of the year. And we included these as well here, as those are supposed to be in November, so we said, I figured it might be mining at least in December. So came up with a estimated gross revenue possibly of 51.6 million. And that's with Bitcoin's price today of 60,550. Current average hash rate is around 143 million. So that's what we're using to figure this all out, based on the numbers. Okay, so with that, we know the shares outstanding for Cleanspark are at 36.5 million. We don't have the current PE. We could probably figure that out. Current stock price is 1644. Market cap is pretty low, actually, 600 million compared to the other guys out there. So going based off of that, total estimated gross revenue for the year, I'm guessing around 91 million if everything plays out the way it's supposed to. Right, we're waiting for the Q3, which is June, July, August, September numbers. When those get announced, we'll have a little bit more better understanding of where they are at. As far as with the numbers, I got about 24 for the Q3, but they could be a lot less depending on how many miners they got. So this is just what I'm estimating right now. So also, their hodl, I don't know how much they're hodling right now with BTC. They did announce some numbers here, what they mined, but they also announced that they are selling the coins. They just announced, just October 12th, I think, that they're selling the coins to purchase more miners, which I think that was the 2,500 miners that they are buying. So they're not hodling as hard as some of the other miners are. They're not diluting shares in the company to buy more miners. They're using the Bitcoins that they're mining to actually buy more mining machines. In a way, I think that's good. Obviously, it's good for the shareholders, but it depends which way the shareholders look at it. Are they looking for price appreciation Bitcoin? Is it going to go up, or is it better to sell them now and buy miners, or is it better to hold on to them and dilute the shares and have the price go up in Bitcoin and make more money that way? It's yin and yang, and it could be either or. So if anybody knows what they're actually hodling right now, I couldn't find anything that was really specific on it as far as most recent one. I just know that they had 191 mined in Q2 and 144 mined in Q1. So that got me to 335. And at today's values, it'd be roughly 20 million. But if they sold some of it, it could be half that, it could be a quarter of that. I just don't know. Also, I wanted to point out something here in a press release that they spoke about on, let me see here, if we can figure out how to do this. Let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, there we go. So on March 26th, they provided, obviously, that they're buying Bitcoin mining equipment. But here's an error that they had. They provided that they're buying 4,778 additional Bitmain S19 models. And these rigs are expected to deliver an estimated 740 petahash. That is incorrect. That should be closer to 470 petahash. I think that somebody just got the numbers mixed up here. But that is a huge difference between 470 and 740 petahash. So just wanted to point that out. So if anybody's got that, this would be incorrect. The correct number would be 470 based on if these miners are the 100,000 gigahash or terahash miners. Okay, got that out of the way. So now if we look at their possibility of incomes the last 3 quarters, right, we're saying we're at possibly 39 million, almost 40 million, based on the numbers of the 6 million and 8 million, and then the 24 million. We should be at, what are we at? 39 million for the 3 quarters possibly. And then obviously the 4th quarter is the one that's dynamic. That's the one that we don't know where price of Bitcoin's going to go. So right now at 60,550, combined total possible income gross would be 91.3 million. And then obviously Bitcoin goes up to 100,000 this year. We're looking at possibly 125,000. If it goes to 150,000, we're looking at 167 million. And then if it goes to 200,000, we're looking at possibly 210 million for the year, which, given my conservative estimates of 50% from gross revenue on this, we're looking at basically a price per share of 25.04 using price to earnings multiple of 20. I know a lot of you guys like to be a little bit more bullish, go with higher numbers for this, but I'm going to be conservative on this. This is just a basic basis where it could be, right? The lowest point, and then you could obviously go up higher from there. So we're looking at 25.04, 34.26, 45.94, 57.63, and then if we use a 75% net revenue based on from gross income, we're looking at a stock of 37.56, 51.39, 68.92, and 86.45. So there's obviously a lot of play here depending on how much they actually spend and how much they actually pay themselves. So that is where we're at with that. Let's take a look at the miner comparisons here. Yeah, let's do that right now. So we added Cleanspark into here. They're 1644 right now. We're looking at a market cap of 600,000, shares outstanding. We know all that. This is what we're looking for the year right now to be possibly making at the current price levels. So I'm guessing my estimates are the stock should be right around $25 right now, based on what they're possibly going to be mining with all the equipment coming in by the end of the year. If everything goes in as it's supposed to, using obviously the 50% discount, using 20 price to earnings multiple. So it's a should increase. It's down basically $8.60 from where I think it should be. So it's definitely undervalued in my opinion. And then obviously we hit 100,000. We're looking at 34, 45, and 57 from here. So that would represent a 52% increase over today's value if it was fairly valued, and then 108%, 179, and 251. So obviously good upside potential. And then, like I said before, I don't know exactly what they're hodling right now, so it's hard to figure that out. I just wanted to give that to you guys information there. And then miners hash rate. If we look at them here, let me zoom this in for you guys. This is everything that they have going into 2022, end of 2022. So if everything gets installed, this is possibly what they could be making. This is also gross revenue, so not net. Cleanspark exahash, they're going to be right around 3.8 exahash by the end of 2022 when all the miners get installed, if they get all installed. That would represent a total miners of around 39,000 miners. Average speed per miner is around 98,000, so pretty good compared to some of the other ones. Obviously better than Hut 8 and Hive and Bitfarms. They're third in line after Marathon and Riot here. That have probably the best miners in the industry right now out of these guys that I'm covering. They'll give them a market cap per exahash of 156 million, right? So that's a lot, 156 million. So basically 3 times that gives us that because they have 3 exahash here. Market cap per the number of miners, so $15,000 per miner for the market cap here. And then if we look at the price of it, so Bitcoin's right now at 60,550 roughly. Market cap gross right now would be around 4.25 billion for Cleanspark. And obviously Bitcoin goes up from there. This is what I'm kind of estimating what they possibly could be making. I'm also using the difficulty hash rate of the Bitcoin network going up 2.5 times from now until the end of 2022. And that's how we're getting the pricing here for what daily, what each machine could be possibly making on average based on what they have. And so this is their daily income, monthly income gross, and then their yearly income, what it could be. And then if we use the 20 PE, we're looking at these market caps here for gross. Obviously, you want to cut that down in half or whatever percentage you think the miners are going to be net income at, which would give us a net return of pretty much 7.2133477. So obviously, these guys are undervalued in my opinion. And then if we obviously go up to maybe 250,000 by the end of the year next year, or who knows where we're going to end up at, but this is just for fun. We're looking at, obviously, what is that? 17 billion for Cleanspark, 5 billion for DigiHost, 16 billion for Argo, 37 billion and 61 billion for Marathon, 16 billion for Hut, 18 billion for Hive, and 30 billion for Bitfarms. If everything works out the way it should be. So, and then lastly, we'll do a quick miners weekly look at it, see how they've all done. So I've added the 4-week gain loss and percentages to this as well, just to kind of take a look at it as well. Added the pricing for the last 4 weeks and everything. So Cleanspark is up on the week, 4.5%. It finished out 1644. Last week it was at 1576. The week prior was at 1432, and then 1253, 1140. So best gainers right now for the 4 weeks here are Cleanspark is up 44%. Marathon is up 36. Hut 8 is up 32. Hive is up 24. And then Bitcoin is up 40%. So based on the 4-week timeline, DigiHost, Argo, Riot, and Bitfarms are lagging behind where Bitcoin price is appreciated. If we look at the week over week, we see that Hive actually did the best out of all of them for last week. It was up 13.74%. And then Bitcoin obviously was down almost 1% on the week. And then DigiHost obviously did very well as well, 6.3, Cleanspark 4.12, and Hut 8 was down 8.76%. So we'll keep this going every week, keep you guys updated on all this stuff. Obviously when new numbers come out as well, we'll update them, we'll provide it to you guys. Let me know if you have any questions. Obviously there's a lot of stuff going on here, a lot of data, a lot of information. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, requests, anything like that. But yeah, I think Cleanspark is a good investment possibly. It looks like to me like it's undervalued right now based on what I'm seeing, as long as they get the miners when they're supposed to get the miners. If that doesn't happen, then obviously all of these numbers don't really make any sense anyways. But if they get the miners in, and then when they report them, I wish they would report more accurate data as far as how much are they hodling, how much they are mining each month, how much did they mine each month, so forth, so on. Like some of the other companies are doing, where they're providing their operations updates for the months. So that's all I got for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Great company. It looks like they're doing, I think, pretty good things other than the expenses on the payroll. Got to get that down. I don't know why it's went up 12x. So that's all I got for you guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a great day. I'll see you guys later on in the next video. And until then, bye.